Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
Advanced Medical Imaging is the largest radiology group in Nebraska, located in Lincoln at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they utilize state-of-the-art technology and blend it together with their compassionate, skilled team to guide you through every step. Whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or X-ray, their precise diagnostics help your doctor deliver the best care plan for you. Choose clarity and comfort in your life by choosing Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com.
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everidge. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. Jackson, I have good news.
What's that?
You get me for 2 hours today. Does that not just make your entire day?
Hey, it's a normal Thursday here at the Ticket, and it's very exciting.
I like it. It's a beautiful day outside as well. All of my kids, this is their last day of school.
Hey, that's the way to do it.
So they're all home tomorrow. Do you know what my wife's doing? I have no idea if she's listening or not, so we'll see when I get home. You know what she's doing? She's taking one of our kids, soccer club travel tournament in Colorado, and she's getting out of Dodge for 4 days. So she's leaving me with 5 kids, no school tomorrow, no school Monday, obviously no school on the weekend, no school going forward basically after today. And she said, Adam, I'm out. You deal with this. I'm going to go watch soccer. What are your thoughts on this, Jackson? How dare she?
Mom's got to do what mom's got to do.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. To be honest, my wife has coached, so Angie has coached Trinity for years in soccer. This is the first year she hasn't coached Trinity specifically. She now coaches our twins and our youngest daughter's team as well. She helps coach the twins team and their youngest daughter's team as well. She's actually been asked to be in charge of multiple things on multiple soccer clubs. So she does a phenomenal job. But yeah, they're heading out to Colorado, big-time club soccer tournament. So that'll be a whole lot of fun. We actually thought Trinity might play her old I don't want to say old soccer team, but her former soccer team that she played for years that Angie basically built up and coached. But alas, they're not in this tournament because that would have been interesting and fun to watch. But yeah, you know, if you're just sitting around, you're like, who should I pray for this weekend? Jackson, if you think of me with 5 kids all on my own, just throw up a prayer or two if you're so inclined, my friend. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Will do.
We got a loaded show today. David Pollack does not want conference championship games in college football anymore. The New York Knicks, utter collapse. What was it, a 14-point lead with 2 minutes to go, a 9-point lead with less than a minute to go? I'm not going to lie to you. I've always liked the Pacers. Reggie Miller is unequivocally one of my favorite NBA players of all time. I liked him because anybody who knows me knows I never root for the guy. I always root for the guy trying to take down the guy. Like in wrestling, it was Warrior, not Hogan. It was Rock, not us. Now, obviously, Warrior and Rock eventually became the guys in their own right, at least for a little time for Warrior. But when I first became fans of them, they were trying to take down the guy. All right, the Pacers were always trying to take down whether it was the Bulls or whether it was the Knicks or whoever it may be. And I just liked Reggie Miller. He was always that trash talker, clutch, three-point shooter that can make plays at the end of games. I forget what it was, but didn't he score like 9 points in like 10 seconds, 15 seconds in one game? He made a three, got a steal, made a three, got a steal, made a three, or something like that. And his older sister, was pretty good at basketball too. And you hear the stories of them playing one-on-one when they were growing up and her kind of beating up on him a little bit. I have 2 older sisters. They were not always so kind to me. love you, but they were not always so kind to me, especially when I'm a lot larger now. So they can't do said things to me anymore. But when I was younger, it was 2-on-1, and they may have had, especially, together, the advantage in a lot of things. So I could relate to a lot of things. So I've always liked Reggie Miller. I've always kind of rooted for the Pacers and whatnot. So I don't hate that the Knicks are back and pretty good and could get to the finals if they don't keep collapsing like this. But I find myself rooting for the Pacers. We'll dive into that just a little bit more. All right, Nebraska's biggest, there's a lot of upside. We talked about a lot of upside for this team. From the wide receivers to the quarterback to the skill positions to just a plethora of DBs with a whole bunch of experience. But I randomly came across this thing on X yesterday, and I even reposted it, or I think I quote tweeted it, if that's what it's still called, now that everything's X instead of Twitter. But I quote tweeted, and basically they said our run defense going into this fall was the biggest concern that they had for Nebraska. They listed out all the biggest concerns for all the Big Ten teams. And I was like, man, run defense. Because that would not have been my initial concern right out the gate, honestly. But the more I thought about it, Ty's gone, Nash is gone, and so we're going to dive into it. What is the biggest concern for Nebraska football heading into this fall? All right, so we'll chat about that as well. And this one's entertaining to me. RHULE taken out of context. So he does an interview and basically says, I'd love it if we went to a 40-team playoff. Well, if you read something like in a text or on a paper or on a computer screen, you just read Matt RHULE wants a 40-team playoff. It comes across completely different than if you watch the clip.
Yeah.
No, those words came. He said, let's go to 40. Like, those words did come out of his mouth. The more, the better. Let's go to 40 or whatever. But there's context to that. There's a tone. There's body language. If you actually watch the clip, it comes across a little bit different. So we'll chat about that a little bit as well. What do you want to start with? Jackson, you choose right off the top. You want to talk about the NBA playoffs? We got Eastern Conference Finals. We got Western Conference Finals. You want to start with conference championship games maybe going away? At least that's what David Pollack believes. You choose the first topic, my friend.
Let's talk about that. David Pollack. I hadn't really seen a lot about that.
All right.
That's very interesting.
So David Pollack calls for an end to conference championship games. So let's throw it out to the fans real quick. I've kind of gotten out of whack. I haven't done a 2-hour show in a while, so I got to do our typical intro. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the Adam Carriker Show. Today, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central Time. All right. I believe going back to next week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, but we'll see. All right, here's what you know. I'm going to be on at some point during the noon hour. Grab your lunch. Come join us. Jackson's going to join me for the next couple of weeks. What you're going to get is Husker sports. What you're going to hear is Husker sports, college football, and sports in general. What you're going to get is unique insight, unbridled honesty, and producer Jackson and I are going to have a whole lot of fun in the process. All right, my man. David Pollack calls for an end to conference championship games. The story is by Thomas Goldkamp of On3. College football playoff expansion could drastically alter the landscape for conference championship games. In fact, some highly profile analysts are already calling for the end of the league title games. Former ESPN analyst David Pollack brought up the topic recently on the See Ball, Get Ball podcast. All right, now before I get to what he said, I've actually talked multiple times on the show in the past. Like right now, a conference title, a conference championship, it means something. Like Georgia can say, hey, we kind of had a down year, but we won the SEC. Oregon's like, hey, year one, we went undefeated, won the Big Ten. In the grand scheme of things, though, I think people are going to look at what happened in the playoff, and almost the way the format is right now, it's almost an inhibitant, if that's the correct word to use there. It almost hinders you. You get the bye, but you also get this gigantic layoff, and I think that hurts teams. And at the end of the day, Oregon, I think I laid it out back in December, they would have had to have beaten, on the way to the playoff, projected, they would have had to have beaten Ohio State, Texas, and either Georgia or Notre Dame, and obviously Notre Dame won that game. But initially, before the playoffs started, it's like, whoa. For going undefeated, win the Big Ten championship, number one seed, you have to beat Ohio State, Texas, and possibly Georgia. And it ended up being Notre Dame because Notre Dame beat Georgia. Like, oh, whoa. Like, is that really a benefit? You win the Big Ten championship, and that's your reward. All right, and then Georgia wins the SEC championship. Obviously, they end up losing to a pretty good Notre Dame team. But Ole Miss head coach Lane Kiffin flat out said, I don't want to play in the title game. There's not a whole lot of benefit beyond, hey, we won the conference championship, which doesn't mean what it used to. So I've said multiple times, conference title games have been devalued exponentially more than I think even some people realize, to the point where a lot of coaches would rather just have the bye week instead and get ready for the playoffs. Before we dive into what Pollack says, here, what do you think on this, Jackson?
Yeah, I kind of see both sides of it, because I can see that how they've been devalued compared to what they were before the college football playoff, like multi-team format. But at the same time, it's if you win a conference championship, you get a higher seed. So it's like there's still like something to say to a benefit. And then to that, none of the conference champions made it anywhere near the national championship this year. They all got beat. Every single one of them. All the high seeds got beat. So this is one of those things. It's like either which way. I don't know. Are they completely worthless now? Do they still kind of mean something? What's it going to be like when we expand to the 12 team, 16 team like they're discussing? I don't know. So
if you just look at the conference championship, it means something. But if you step back and you realize that Notre Dame was in the national title game, then they'll never win a conference title because they're not even in a conference. Maybe that's a bit of an outlier. Ohio State finished fourth in the Big Ten, just for perspective. They finished fourth in the Big Ten, yet they won the national title. Like, for anyone who said expanding the playoff will not devalue the regular season, I've never understood how it's not going to devalue it. Hey, printing more money is a great thing, but it also devalues the money that's out there. All right, it's just how things work. You can't just have more, and everything's going to stay the same. No. The more you have of something, the less important each individual aspect of the more that you printed or whatever you're doing is worth. And it's going to fall into the conference championship game as well. They have been devalued quite a bit. I still remember 92, Florida-Bama. The first ever conference championship game, that SEC title game. Antonio Langham gets the pick. Florida. So Alabama's undefeated. They win. They're going to go play Miami. Okay. And in the Sugar Bowl, 3-loss Florida team comes in at first ever SEC title game. Florida's pretty good, even though they got 3 losses. And they're going down to score. And they could potentially win the game. I mean, they're right there. The game's going to end. Antonio Langham steps in front, pick 6, closes the door. Alabama goes to Sugar Bowl, just curb stomps a really good undefeated Miami team, and Gino Torretta, the Heisman Trophy winner that year. I remember thinking, that was awesome. I love the conference championship game, like having your 2 best teams play at the end of the year. Then in 96, when the Big 12 did it, didn't love the outcome of that particular game, but the game itself, all right, having a Big 12 championship game I liked, and then other conferences have followed in suit since then. They followed in suit because it's dramatic, it's fun to watch, it's a gigantic moneymaker. It makes sense to crown a champion this way, especially as the conferences expanded. When you got like 8 teams, like the old Big 8, and mostly it was Nebraska, Oklahoma for the Big 8 championship back in the day, you don't necessarily need an extra game. But as you start to expand these conferences, it kind of makes sense. But now you get to a certain point where you're expanding the playoff, and you start to look at the bigger picture thing. Maybe it's not such a good thing, and they've been devalued. So here's what David Pollack had to say. And I quote, "I think the conference championship games will be an interesting discussion point, all right, when it comes to the college football playoff expansion." Again, if you're going to add more and more games to the body, yeah, I do think conference or championship games should go away. But that's also going to be money. That's also going to be data points. But yes, that needs to go away. End quote. All right. Further on in this article, they go on to talk about there's going to be quite the tug of war between the powers at being the college football debate over conference championship games. On the one hand, they can be immense wealth drivers. Not can be. They are immense wealth drivers. The SEC title game, I mean, I don't take shots at the SEC. I hold them accountable. Okay. But the SEC title game, unless you're talking like a Final Four playoff game or a national title game, there aren't many games that have the atmosphere within the actual game itself in college football every year like the SEC championship game. I will give it its due. All right. Let's see. On the other hand, the games themselves are losing importance with the expanded playoff field. At what point do they become redundant or even a detriment to a team's playoff aspirations? Which is kind of what I've been talking about. You know, the other thing, at some point, we're going to have 2 teams play each other 3 times in a season. And then it's going to happen again. And then we're going to get used to it. It happens in the NFL all the time. Nobody bats an eye because they're used to it. But there could be a situation where, like last year, Oregon and Ohio State played in the regular season. A lot of people thought they'd play in the Big Ten championship game and then again in the playoffs. Now, it didn't work out that way. But there's going to be times where teams play each other 3 times in a year. I'm all for a rematch, but it's kind of like boxing. The first boxing match, between two big names is a big deal. The rematch sometimes outdoes the original. But anytime you go to a trio, it never matches either the first two matchups as far as hype, excitement, okay, because it starts to be redundant at a certain point. Now, here's something else Pollack said. He's right, but let's be real. When it comes to this point, he's right. Nobody in college football, like the powers that be, are not genuinely interested in the following point that we're about to talk about. So here's the quote. We need to talk about safety of kids at some point, Pollack said. Well, when you keep putting on more and more games and they're finishing with 20 games in a regular season, there's a lot to ask, man. That's a lot, end quote. He's right. When you have 12 regular season games, a conference championship game, and then potentially 4 playoff games, and then some teams are going to have play-in games. I don't know about 20 games. I could see us getting there if we just keep expanding the playoff. All right. But there's at least 17 games right there. That's an NFL regular season. We used to play 11 games in college football, plus a bowl game in the regular season. That was 12 games total. That could be potentially 17. So he's right. As far as safety, he's 100% right. And I wonder, I don't even want to put it out there in the universe, so I'm going to knock on wood. I'm going to knock on this table. I assume it's wood. I'm going to knock on my head just to be safe because there's definitely wood in there. What if at some point there's some injuries because of these extended playoffs and the college football players start looking around and they're like, whoa, I'm putting my NFL career in jeopardy here. Because who would have ever thought we'd have players sit out of bowl games? Like that wasn't asinine, asinine. That was asinine when I was a kid. Now it's an afterthought. Like people just accept it. So I don't want to put it out there. I don't want anyone to get hurt. But you just start looking down the road. I could see that potentially happening one day. I hope to God it does not. But it is a possibility. You start adding all these games in. They start looking around being like, whoa. We had kids talking about literally negotiating to play in the playoff games last year, going into playoff games because it wasn't part of their original contract, so they're asking for more money. Go ahead. You look like you have something to say. Go ahead.
I just think it's crazy because, it's just losing the whole point of the sport.
Yes.
Yes. It's just we're losing every point of this. It's just all becoming about, you haven't, sure, you're good in college. That's great. You haven't proven anything. You have not proven anything. I don't get it. I genuinely don't get it. And I've been to a few bowl games where I pulled in there going, oh, I hope this guy plays today. And they don't. So I don't like it. I don't know how we get away from it. I think it's only just going to get worse. So I don't know.
It's interesting. And I'm not trying to dive too far away. I'm going to come back to the conference championship game discussion that we started with here in just a second. But well, real quick, to Pollack's point, it is an absolute safety concern. As opposed to playing, let's say, 13 games. All right, let's say you play, or even 14, 12 regular season games. You play a conference championship game, a national title game. And I know it's been a long time since we even had this format. So if you play 14 games for 4 years, which would be an awful lot, right? That's assuming you got the national title game every year. That's 56 games. Let's say you do the same thing in the new format. That's going to be 68 games, 17 times 4. That's a whole nother former college football season of 12 games, 68 to 56. I'm just telling you, the people in charge of college football I don't know every single person. I don't know every single person's heart. As an overall whole, they care about the business way more than they care about the safety of the players. They care about the appearance of player safety because that's good for business. It's the same thing as the NFL. Okay, the NFL just keeps adding games and they throw in Thursday night games. I've always said, when I was a player, hey, you want to go to 18 games? Because that was always the discussion. Just give us an extra bye week. Shorten the preseason, okay, which they did, but give us an extra bye week. I didn't hate it. My point is they're always finding a way to add more games and add more games on TV, hence Thursday night games, which is, I played in Thursday night games. My body wasn't right. I was like, wow, I really don't feel good yet. Let's go take on another double team. But that's part of the job. I'm not complaining. I'm just like, they don't genuinely care about player safety. They care about the appearance of player safety because that's a good appearance for business and business makes money. Yeah. So to your point about getting away from everything. All right. I don't, for years, people would ask me, okay, back when players couldn't get paid, NIL, et cetera, and there was none of that. Adam, should players be paid? And I always said, it's tough because I like their amateur status, yet there is millions of dollars being made off their back. The other thing that needed to be pointed out that I don't think it was pointed out enough, once you start paying players, that money to pay players doesn't just magically appear. You now have to make more money. So when they started paying players, it was phenomenal. It was something I supported, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, where's this money coming from? Money does not grow on trees, as the old saying says. You don't just open up a box on Christmas morning and all these university presidents and ADs have a bunch more money to hand out to players. Where's it going to come from? The moment we start paying players, and you had to start paying your labor force, which is what players are, okay, you opened up a chain reaction. And again, I'm not saying we shouldn't have paid players. I just don't think the chain reaction was clearly fully thought through of now we've got to make more money. How's that going to happen? Now we need to get all the big brands in these two conferences. We need big matchups. And now we need more games. And now we need this because we have to generate more revenue because we're going to have a $20.5 million cap for our college athletes. That's just 1 year. Over 5 years, that's over $100 million we now have to make in addition to what we were trying to make before. Not the universities were poor before.
Yeah.
I don't. Did you think about any of that when they started paying players a few years ago?
Not even a little. I just thought it was going to be like the local brand advertisements. Like you would just see like a player on a billboard and that was okay. And they were making a little bit of money. I didn't think it was going to be like, okay, I want to play quarterback. And if you don't give me $4.25 million, I'm going to leave and go take less money somewhere else. But I'm not talking about anybody in particular.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
No.
Okay.
But, yeah, I just I don't know. I never thought it was ever going to go that far. I always thought like it was cool to pay the players sponsorships because I know like when I was a kid, there was like some games I'd go to and some of them like were like, oh, I can't sign an autograph, and I'm like, you know what, a 7-year-old little kid, like they can't do that. That was against the rules for some teams. Some of them they just did it, but. I always thought it would be good to start the sponsorships, but I don't think anybody, and maybe some people did, maybe you did, but I never ever thought it was going to get to this point where there's guys making more money playing college football than they are in the NFL. Like Shooter Sanders probably could have come back for an extra year and made more money than he is right now as a 5th round pick. So crazy.
To your point, I never thought it would get to that. I'm not going to lie to you because college football is my favorite sport to watch. Because it's not my money. And I just want the better players to stay in college football longer. I actually don't hate it because it benefits college football. Yeah. Now, is it the way it should be? I can debate that. I just love what's best for college football and the consumer of college football. I don't know that it's the way college football should be ran, though. Those can be two things can be true at once when it comes to those things. I will say, I knew there'd be a chain reaction. I didn't know exactly how deep it would go, how big it would get. Like, I never thought, how about this? I never thought we'd get to the point where we have players, agents, who are taking advantage of a system, not even agents, to be honest. They're not licensed or anything else. A lot of these people, some are. But they're taking advantage of a system while the system still exists before some rules and parameters come in and they can't just gobble up as much money as possible. It's happening. It is. But I never would have imagined, I'm going to use air quotes, agents for players would be negotiating for more money going into a college football playoff game or the threat of sitting out was real. I didn't think we'd ever get there. That was mind-blowing to me. Okay, so do we have anything on the text line? Because I want to throw it to the fans. And we're going to go to break soon. But I want to know, do they think conference championship games, not should, will exist in 5 years? Do you think they will?
Unknown texter 5162. And I was thinking about this when you were talking. In my college football 25 dynasty mode, I've played Oregon 9 times in 3 years. So yeah, it's very real possibility. I talked about this with Harrison Arns on Ticket Weeknights.
Yeah.
There's a scenario where like Michigan and Ohio State, they play in the last game of every regular season. They could play in the Big Ten championship. And then pondering the result of that game, they could play in the first round of the college football playoff. 3 straight games. It is the exact same thing. It is totally possible. It is completely possible.
So them playing to end the regular season in the Big Ten championship game next week is very possible. Like, that will probably happen at some point. Okay?
Probably.
What are the odds they won't just meet they're probably both going to be in the playoff way more often than not. They're not eventually going to meet, especially in the first round at some point. Especially when we go to 16 teams. No teams have buys or whatever the case may be. Oh. So for those who are like, oh, that probably won't happen, multiple times in the Mountain West, I've watched Fresno and Boise State, okay, play to end the regular season, knowing they were going to play the same exact weekend. In fact, both times was on the blue turf. Fresno would go to Boise. It didn't matter who won. They're playing Boise on the blue turf. Everyone knows who's going to play the next week on the blue turf again because Boise had the better record. Like they were going to be the 1 seed or whatever, and Fresno was the second best record in conference, knowing they were going to play the next weekend. It's already happened twice as far as ending the regular season and then turning right around and playing the same team in the championship game on the same freaking field a week later. So to your point, it could easily happen with bang, 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 3 in a row with a playoff game.
Completely possible.
In there as well. All right, I know we got to go to break. All right, we'll wrap this up when we come back. I want to know, what's that number there, Jackson?
The text line?
Yeah.
402-464-5685. Sorry, him in text line.
Just so you know, I pretend not to know it so you can say it for those who are out there who don't know it, although pretty much everyone does. That's kind of the little gig there. We'll go to break. We'll come back. I want to know, do you believe there will be conference championship games in 5 years? Yes or no? Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Advanced Medical Imaging is the largest radiology group in Nebraska, located in Lincoln at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they utilize state-of-the-art technology and blend it together with their compassionate, skilled team to guide you through every step. Whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or X-ray, their precise diagnostics help your doctor deliver the best care plan for you. Choose clarity and comfort in your life by choosing Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Psst. You know what's better than waking up early to go to the airport? Sleeping in. Lucky for you, the lines at the Lincoln Airport are so short and our service is so fast. You won't need to sacrifice precious beauty sleep to get here hours before your flight. So, go ahead. Sleep in. You deserve it. And choose the airport that helps you relax. LNK. Make flying easy.
Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's special through May 27th is $1 off hamburger and hot dog buns, $1 off Plum Creek chicken wings, 15% off barbecue sauces, and 15% off burgers, hot dogs, and brats. The Mercado has locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 160th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Hey guys, it's AD. Join us on Friday from 9 to 11 a.m. for The Drive at A1 Automotive's brand new location at 5110 State Hill Drive, just off of Yankee Hill in South Lincoln. We'll be on ahead of the grand opening, which goes from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., which will have giveaways, free food, and tours. We'll see you on Friday at the brand new A1 Automotive.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next opportunity? Nebco is hiring. They're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. They offer competitive wages, great benefits, service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Apply today at nebco.com. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for the Nebco shop. Learn more at nebco.com. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at nebco.com.
Batter up! Join us this summer at Haymarket Park for 50 action-packed Salt Dogs games running now through August. Visit saltdogs.com for updates on everything you need to know about weekly promotions, giveaways, and special events. That's where you'll find the latest updates to make sure you catch all the excitement and never miss a homestand you want to attend. Haymarket Park is your ticket to fun all summer long. Visit saltdogs.com to get your tickets and unleash the fun.
Tailored Landscapes is actively preparing for spring. Things like new tree orders, getting equipment ready, and training staff to serve you the best they can. If you haven't already planned, now is the perfect time to figure out a maintenance plan for your yard. Tailored Landscapes is on the brink of spring cleanups for all their existing customers, and they have limited spots available. They trim trees and shrubs when needed and only mulch proper amounts. Give Tailored Landscapes a call at 402-432-2572 to set up a meeting with one of their designers and stop by the Tailored Life store in Bennett.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Support Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach on Give to Lincoln Day. Your gift will be received by a portion of Lincoln Community Foundation's matching fund. Homelessness is a complex problem facing our community. By working together, we can find solutions. Your donation for Give to Lincoln Day moves us closer to ensuring that everyone in Lincoln has a safe place to sleep at night. Because of your generosity, hope lives here. Give anytime through May 29th at givetolincoln.com.
Attention! Acres is cutting interest rates and offering great deals below market value on the largest selection of used inventory in the nation. For a limited time, Acres is offering interest rates as low as 2.9% on our late model John Deere ag equipment. Acres low interest rates, along with our below market prices on select John Deere used planters, tractors, sprayers, and combines, makes it a great time to upgrade your equipment for the 2025 season. Visit acres.com for details. That's AKRS.com. Offer ends May 31st, 2025. Subject to approved financing. Offer may change at any time without notice.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Tree can make 1 million matchsticks, but one matchstick can burn 1 million trees. Moral of the story, one negative thought can burn all the other positive thoughts. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. Check out all things The Ticket at theticketfm.com. Anywhere you get your podcasts, Amazon Prime, social medias, Facebook, X, and the like. You can also check us out, Allo TV, or turn your dial, radio dial 93.7. All right, I'll call you Jake. Sorry, Jackson. All right, Jackson.
They're similar. They're too similar.
Yes. Habits. All right, what do we got off the text line? I think you said we got a couple of texts in there.
Yeah. Thunder Not Collins in reference to the college football players that we were talking about. They get paid like pros, some of them. Now more games for more money.
So that's a fair point. It is a fair point. But what we need to do, we need to make sure contracts cover entire seasons, not just the regular season, and then we're negotiating while the rest of the playoffs and season's going along. I'm sure they'll get that figured out. You have to be a moron not to get that figured out at some point. Okay, they are figuring out the Wild Wild West as we speak, but that's a very fair point. Hey, if they're going to make a lot more money, now you're going to play in a lot more games, especially if you're making more than you would in the NFL for some of these guys. Fair point.
Yeah, we have Old Dad 34 says, no, there won't be championship games in conference because of the automatic bids, and it will hurt the teams if they play in it.
So I want to come back to that. I'm going to finish this, and then I'm going to give my thoughts to that. Okay, and if anybody else texts in, let me know. So let me see. Could conference championship games disappear altogether? Not everybody shares David Pollack's take. All right, Pete Thamel believes there's a world where both conference championship games and an expanded playoff exist. How remains to be seen. I'll be honest with you. That's what I fully expect. Okay, we'll come back to that. And I quote, I think there's a conversation that's going to continue to evolve right now, Thamel said. It's just my opinion. I don't honestly think, my opinion is I don't honestly think we'll get there. I think it will go, there will be a conference championship games with guarantees, and then there will be playing games, if you will, on the others. Sometimes quotes are so hard to understand. Basically, he's saying it's going to kind of evolve. He doesn't know for sure. But he thinks there's going to be playing games, which we've already talked about, the 3 versus 6, the 4 versus 5, Big Ten, SEC, 1, 4, 2, 3 at the end of the regular season playing in the ACC and the Big 12. The question is really, is there going to be a Big Ten and SEC championship game between the top 2 regular season teams? Okay, let's come back to this. And for the ACC and Big 12, Jim Phillips in the ACC has been pretty open about creating extra inventory. Another way of saying that, ladies and gentlemen, is making more money. And look at an era where everyone's trying to squeeze out the last dollar. It would make sense to have 2 play-in games over 1 conference championship game. Just bottom line financials, end quote. So our texter, what was the name again?
Old Dad 34.
Does not think there'll be conference championship games in 5 years. Okay. So the model that we seem to be headed towards, I've debated this with Jake and chatted about it with Jake for months. You know, we're going to expand. We're going beyond 12. I've always said I like 14 because then the top 2 seeds get a bye. And if you have a Big Ten SEC championship game, those games now matter a ton because those 2 teams will probably get the bye. And now the conference championship games matter. It sure seems like we're going to a 16-team playoff. What it looks like, again, is the Big 12, the ACC, even Pete Thamel said, why have 1 conference title game when you can have 2 play-in games and make almost twice the money? So that's what those 2 conferences are going to do. 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3. For both those conferences, the 2 winners of those games get in. Again, already mentioned 3, 6, 4, 5 in the Big Ten and SEC. The question is the 1 and 2 teams at the end of the regular season for the Big Ten and the SEC, do they have a conference championship game or not? I love the idea of them not having it because you're already going to have 2 other play-in games in the Big Ten, the SEC, the Big 12, the ACC. And as Jake pointed out to me a while ago, he goes, Adam, it's really a 24-team playoff because you've got all these play-in games, which are really playoff games, to get into the playoff. They've got a 24-team playoff, but just calling it 16 teams with these play-in games. And I'm like, you're absolutely right. It's really a 24-team playoff.
Good way to look at it.
So for me, I'm holding on to any thread of hope that the regular season is going to matter at all still. That was the thing that made college football 1 of 1 for so long. Everyone would come at me, well, the NFL does this, and the FCS does this, and the NBA does this, and Major League Baseball does this. With all due respect, don't care. I've never wanted to be like other people unless that was the best thing. I love that college football was 1 of 1 because every game mattered. When I was growing up, you lost 1 game, you were probably done.
Yeah.
Even the 14 playoff, you lost 1 game, depending on your strength of schedule and frankly, who you were, what was your brand, you may or may not be done. Okay. I'm not going to swim upstream for the rest of my life. I know we're going to expand. I know we're going to do these things. I know they have to make more money because they have to pay the players. I get all that. All right. And players get to be paid. It's a good thing. But there is a ricochet chain reaction type reaction here. So I'm holding on hope that the 1 and 2 seeds will just automatically be in the playoff, and they'll get the higher seeds in the Big Ten and SEC because it puts more emphasis on the regular season. Okay. I am still holding on to anything that just preserves the regular season and its importance. But here's what I think is going to happen. There's going to be a Big Ten title game. There's going to be an SEC title game because there is so much money to be made off those games. And that is the tiebreaker in college football. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, I don't think that they would ever completely just scrap conference championship games. I think that's way too far-fetched. I also think that there would be too much backlash with that to even go that direction because it also just diminishes the culture of conferences. Why be in a conference if you're not working to be the top of that conference and not even getting to a conference championship game? So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do. And I know aren't they currently meeting about expanding it right now in this time of year? So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with all that. But
I should mention there's also at least a 50% chance. Obviously, we're going to have 12 teams in this upcoming year's playoff, and then there's probably going to be about 1,000 3 years from now. But for now, there's going to be 12 for the next year. We know at least.
Make it 40.
Okay, Rule. All right. Don't worry. We're getting there. Top of the hour. We'll discuss that. Okay. But there's a very real possibility. It's probably at least 50-50 that instead of conference champs getting the automatic top 4 seeds like a year ago for this upcoming year's playoff, they might just go the top 12 teams. But they would also factor in conference champs are automatically in. But then once you're in, you're seeded based on your ranking. So there's a chance that may happen this year. So just for perspective, Arizona State and Clemson would have been the 11 and 12 seeds last year instead of Arizona State, what were they, the 3rd or 4th seed? Because Boise was 3rd or 4th.
Yeah.
So it's a drastic difference. Okay. And I think Penn State, Notre Dame would have been the 3rd and 4th seed and had the bye instead. So essentially, it would have been Oregon, Georgia, which we had. I think the 3rd seed would have been Penn State. The 4th seed would have been Notre Dame. And if that's the case, Notre Dame gets rewarded for not playing in a conference title game. All right. And Penn State loses the conference title game and still gets a bye. So to me, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think they're going to go to 16 teams. They're going to have all these play-in games. They're going to have conference title games is my guess, because that's how you're going to make the most amount of money. Now, and I don't want to put the cart before the horse. We're going to get to this at the top of the hour. I'm kind of like, all right. Like, are we done? Like, the instant we went from 2 to 4, you knew eventually we were going to go to 8. And I was wrong. We went from 4 to 12 teams. But I remember when we went to a 14 playoff, I'm like, it's not going to stop here. We're going to go to 8. And I was wrong about that because, again, we went from 4 straight to 12. And I was like, then we're going to go to 12. And then people are going to want 16. The thought of play-in games, of course, there wasn't conference realignment when you think all the way back to 2014 when this first happened. None of that was on my radar. Now I'm like, if we have these conference title games, all these play-in games, a 16-team playoff, are we done? Or is there a realistic chance that we might go beyond this? Because I can actually live with that. It's really a 2014 playoff, as we've talked about. Okay. Yeah. I can live with that. Because in the back of my mind, I'm like, all right, be ranked. Basically, unless you're the 25th team, be ranked and you're in the playoff. Okay, some sort of a way to get in the playoff, or you can win a play-in game. Like, essentially, be ranked. I can justify that. You go beyond that, now we're talking about teams with like 5 losses, barely over 500, and we're talking about teams that are not ranked, and I can't that's where my head starts to implode. I'm like, all right. And I know RHULE was joking. We're going to get to that. He was taken out of context online. But it got me thinking, like, is there a world where we could go beyond 16? Because I always kind of had that as the end of it all. Okay, you got these 4 playing games. All right, however many playing games there would be. Okay, is there a world where we could go beyond that? I'm just like, we'll get to that at the top of the hour. We're going to get to the NBA here. But when I saw some of the responses yesterday, like one person was like, let's go 64 teams. And I think they were joking. I'm not convinced enough that they were.
I was going to say, I've seen plenty of people online chatting about just going March Madness format. Let's just skip all the mumbo jumbo. Let's just get to the March Madness bracket.
Okay, we're not supposed to talk about this yet, but let's light this candle. So if we go 64 teams, what is that? 64, 32, 16, 8, 4, 2. So that's 6 games right there. So are we going to play like an 9-game regular season and then single elimination? So some teams would play 9 games their entire year?
That's probably what they would do.
How does that work? You can't go double elimination. I mean, my God. Now we're talking, I was joking about double elimination, but my point is, like, is this a real possibility here?
Bowl games would be gone.
They'd be gone.
Bowl games.
Yes.
I don't think you could do that because of the bowl games.
Yeah.
Again, money. I know there may be money in that 64-team format, but
maybe
all of these maybe.
Did you say maybe?
I really think maybe.
Maybe.
But like with these other bowl games, I mean, there's sponsors on all these bowl games, and I don't even know how. I feel like I see a new bowl game pop up every year. I'm like, I never heard of that one. So
with all these terrible names.
Yeah, it's like the I don't even know, like the
I've gotten used to
the Quaker Oats Bowl. Yeah, I don't know.
Was it the Duke's Mayo's Bowl? I got used to cheese it. At first, I would make fun of it. Oh, I'm like,
Florida's got some good bowl games.
They do actually.
We got some good bowl games.
You know who I miss is the Outback Bowl.
Well, that's the Reliant Quest Bowl now. I've been to that 2 times the past 2 years.
But it's been the Outback Bowl ever since I was a kid. I got used to that.
True.
It kind of made me sad.
Yeah.
They got outbid apparently or something like that.
Probably.
I don't think they'll go here's why I don't think they'll go beyond 16 with the conference championship games and all the playing games. Because if you do, if you go 64 teams, you've eventually got to narrow down the regular season. On any given regular season weekend, there's 60 plus college football games. You know how much money is in that?
Yeah.
You can't tell me that adding another round to the playoffs, which is a half to a quarter as many games being played, and we could pretend they're very important, but you're talking teams that probably under 500 at that point. Okay, and they're going to play these 1 seeds and just get demolished. My point is there's so much money in the regular season and these guaranteed amount of games every weekend they're not going to pull back on the regular season for less games for another round of the playoff. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, like, if you've got a 64-team field, the first weekend, you're going to have 32 games. But if you've got 134 teams in D1 or whatever it is, you're talking 67 games. So there's more money in 67 games.
It's very true.
Let's say there's some teams on bye. Okay, 65, 64 games, 63. There's still a lot more money in the guaranteed regular season games than in extra rounds of the playoff with less games going on.
If we expand there, but I want to see like all the FCS teams. I want to see like Alabama like going up against like the Citadel.
I hate everything about that. I hate everything about that.
If we're going there,
dude,
it has to be that.
Let's not go there.
It has to be that.
Like when I tell you, I've kind of accepted and I can live with the fact 16-team playoff, all these playing games, etc. You go beyond that. Now you are getting to an amount of games where even the powers that be in college football would be like, all right, we got to pull back on the regular season. Yeah. I don't think they can do that realistically because that's way too much money they're leaving on the table. So to me, I'm kind of hoping 16 is the cap with all these playing games. We'll see what happens. Gotcha. We still have not gotten to the NBA. We need to go to a break. That's all right. Any final thoughts? Is there anything else from the text line? Any final thoughts before we go to break and then get to the NBA?
Unknown texter 5162 says, what are the odds all conference championships make it into the expanded playoff? They make the postseason in every other sport.
So are we talking like the G5 champs, I assume they're talking about?
Yeah, I'd imagine.
No, you'd have to go beyond 16 because right now you got your 4 power conference. We'll continue to act like the Big 12 and ACC is on the same levels, SEC, Big 10. Your 4 power conference champs, your 1 G5 champ, and the people that are running college football are not going to guarantee more than 1 G5 team in every year. They're not going to. You would have to like go to 64 teams.
Yeah.
I can't believe that I even just said that. That 64 teams just came
it's
out
a wild
of my mouth.
Thing to just say.
It's disgusting. And I think what would ultimately happen if they want more G5 teams in, guaranteed, they're going to have their own tournament, the G5 schools.
That's not bad.
I like Cinderella.
So do I.
So I don't like that. So again, I'm holding on hope we stop at 16. And at 16, you may get a second G5 team in. It's more, obviously more spots, more opportunities.
Yes.
But they're not going to guarantee it. There's too much money to be made with these bigger brand names. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. Finally, we're going to talk some NBA. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
Hello, I'm Joe Cordell, founder of Cordell & Cordell. Divorce is complicated, especially when your small business or professional practice is involved. At Cordell & Cordell, we understand that these assets raise unique valuation and allocation issues. For 35 years, we've helped doctors, lawyers, and small business owners navigate divorce with confidence. Call us at Cordell & Cordell. Let me tell you, I understand on a personal level, your business is much more than a job. It's your legacy.
1221 N Street, Lincoln. CordellCordell.com.
Upgrade your fleet with a pre-owned 8R tractor from Landmark Implement. We offer a wide selection of used John Deere 8Rs, ready to bring power and precision to your operation. For a limited time, take advantage of 2.9% financing for 36 months, followed by 6.2% for 24 months. We'll help you find the right fit for all your acres, all backed by Landmark's trusted parts and service department. Visit landmarkimp.com or stop by your local Landmark location today and experience the Landmark difference.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Get on island time with Westgate Bank's Festival of Free. Stop by any Westgate Bank location in Lincoln and Omaha on Friday, May 30th to open your new completely free checking account. Get a free gift, enjoy free food and fun. While you're here, register to win a 22-inch Blackstone griddle. One prize will be given away at each location. That's Friday, May 30th at Westgate Bank. Visit westgate.bank for details. Westgate Bank, member FDIC. Need not be a customer to enter. One entry per person.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge, with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards, just south of 48th and Holdridge.
Memorial Day is coming up quickly, and you know what that means. Grilling season. You know what's more embarrassing than an overcooked piece of meat? A dirty, disgusting, and grimy grill. Let the pros at Husker Grill Cleaning get you ready for grilling season. They'll take your grill apart piece by piece, scrub every inch, and reassemble it so your grill can look and perform its best. Visit their website at huskergrillcleaning.com today to schedule your appointment. Husker Grill Cleaning, serving Lincoln, Omaha, Malcolm, and more.
Support Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach on Give to Lincoln Day. Your gift will be received by a portion of Lincoln Community Foundation's matching fund. Homelessness is a complex problem facing our community. By working together, we can find solutions. Your donation for Give to Lincoln Day moves us closer to ensuring that everyone in Lincoln has a safe place to sleep at night. Because of your generosity, hope lives here. Give anytime through May 29th at givetolincoln.com.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
Batter up! Join us this summer at Haymarket Park for 50 action-packed Salt Dogs games running now through August. Visit saltdogs.com for updates on everything you need to know about weekly promotions, giveaways, and special events. That's where you'll find the latest updates to make sure you catch all the excitement and never miss a homestand you want to attend. Haymarket Park is your ticket to fun all summer long. Visit saltdogs.com to get your tickets and unleash the fun.
On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
The goal for those coming on the road, let's go get that first. And then here's what'll happen. There'll be you'll kind of be lackadaisical. Instead of keeping that energy, why not instead of keeping that energy, you'll probably see just a little bit more ease of play. Because in the psyche, we did what we came to do.
Every weekday from 3 to 5 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. As always, check out all things The Ticket at theticketfm.com. All right, Eastern Conference Finals, the New York Knicks, the Indiana Pacers. I mean, this is as Eastern, old school, an Eastern Conference Finals as you're going to get. This is old school Eastern Conference rivals going at each other. All right. If you didn't watch it or you didn't know, absolutely catastrophic collapse by the New York Knicks in game one, up 14 points with 2 minutes left in the game. All right, just to lose at home in overtime. All right. With, let's see, 14-point lead with 2 minutes to go with 52 seconds to go. They led by 9. All right. The record of teams that trailed by 9+ points, so from the Indiana Pacers perspective, in the final minute of the fourth quarter or overtime of a playoff game since 1998, before Wednesday's game, a team had trailed 1,414 times and had won 0. 0. First of all, 1,414, that's a lot. And then won 0 times. Now, their record is 1 and 1,415 in that scenario. That is just mind-blowing to me. And you got to give props, Tyrese Halliburton, the shot at the end to send it to overtime. Crazy shot, clutch jeans. I don't know if you knew this. Maybe you did, but Tyrese Halliburton and Brock Purdy were classmates together at Iowa State.
I did not know that. Actually, I don't think I knew Halliburton went to Iowa State.
Yeah, I mean, props to Iowa State, man. They got some alums making some big noise. All right, now Halliburton has the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals. Obviously, they're up 1-0 in the series. And Purdy, if you didn't know, just signed a $265 million extension with the 49ers. All right, you watch this game. What are your thoughts on this game? Why do you think this collapse happened? And are you rooting for one of these teams? Or are you just completely unbiased in this?
You know, yesterday I came on here and I said, give me the Knicks. I said, give me the Knicks. I said, they're on a great run. They come off that series with the Celtics. I thought for sure this was going to be an easy game 1. They're in the Garden. Like, if this was in Indiana, it would have been a little bit like, okay, cool. Like, good win for Indiana. They did this in the Garden. They did this in their house in front of all those fans there in New York. So it was a crazy. If this is any indication of what this series is going to be like, this game 1, I'm going to be locked in every game 2, game 3, game 4, game 5 if it makes it there. All of them. Because this was just an incredible game. To watch Indiana come back from that deficit, hit a buzzer beater that for a couple seconds we thought might have been the end of the game. But it turns out Tyrese Halliburton's foot's on the line. They tie the game, but they take care of business over there in overtime. But high scoring, electric offense. It was a fantastic game to watch and just a great game 1 to start this series.
I said 3, but yes, his foot was on the line. You are correct there. So you look at this game. Okay, you look at some of the stats. You look at the momentum. You look at the ability to come back. Both teams shot exactly 51% from the field. All right, 3-point shooting percentage. The Knicks struggled 32%, while the Pacers were 40%. Free throw shooting percentage. What do you think is a good free throw shooting percentage for a good NBA team? Like, what pops into your head? Because both their percentages are lower than I would have expected.
Yeah, it's 70 and 75. So I want to be in the 80s.
That's what I thought.
Probably in the 80s.
Yeah.
Obviously, you want clean, but yeah, I'd probably expect the 80, maybe 85 range on a really good night. But yeah, 80s probably. So 70s probably a little bit low for the Knicks, and 75's what it is for me.
Yeah, the Knicks just struggled to shoot on the night as an overall whole. All right,
yeah,
70% from the free throw line. When you're trying to close out a game and you're trying to get to the NBA Finals for the first time since what? They played the Rockets in the mid-90s? Hakeem Olajuwon and Vernon Maxwell and all those guys. Have they been to the finals since the mid-90s? I don't think they have.
I've never seen the Knicks in the finals in my entire life.
And you're how old are you?
I'm 20.
Oh, yeah, you were born after that. I remember watching that because that's when Jordan was playing baseball for a couple of years.
Yeah.
The Rockets won back-to-back titles. Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon. They beat the Knicks. All right, that's the last time I can remember them being in the finals. I'd have to look it up to get a little bit more recon on that. But I'm with you. Like, the Western Conference Finals we'll talk about here in a second. All right, Minnesota looked good early on. OKC pulled away late, and you saw why they're the number 1 seed, which is interesting because Minnesota was 8-2 coming in the playoffs, coming into that game 1, and then they kind of got boat raced at the end. I am more intrigued by the Eastern Conference Finals personally. All right, between the Pacers and the Knicks. Give us your final thoughts on this game and the series going forward.
I underestimated Indiana. Indiana obviously showed us last night they have the full capability to win this series. Like, full capability. I think the Knicks will, if I had to guess in game 2, I think the Knicks will get that done. But they got to perform way better than last night. They can't collapse. They need to break whatever curse they have of just fumbling every time they get handed a good situation. It's just, yeah, I just watch out for Indiana. I always thought going into this playoff run, they were the sneakiest team. And here we are. They're in the conference finals, Indiana, the Knicks. So we'll see what happens in the rest of this series.
We will talk a little bit of Western Conference finals, probably the back half of the top of the hour. But here in just a couple of minutes when we come back. All right. Context matters, ladies and gentlemen. We'll discuss the entertainment online about Matt Rhule's comments. Wants to go to 40 teams. All right. Tone matters, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll discuss that as well. NFL players can now participate in the Olympics in 2028 in flag football. Oh, you want to talk about open up Pandora's box? That's going to be fun to watch.
Woo!
Dude, we got to talk about who we would have on our teams if we could select and pick who we want on our teams as well. And then what is Nebraska's biggest concern going into the fall? It was debated a little bit online yesterday. Okay. Some of the reactions I saw said offensive line, said stopping the run, et cetera, et cetera. All right. And before we head to break here real quick, in case you didn't know, Brock Purdy is the 5th highest paid quarterback in the NFL, $265 million. You got Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, Brock Purdy. The next 5 are Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, Kyler Murray. So Brock Purdy, top 5 in the league, former Iowa State alum.
Interesting.
That's all you got. All right. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
ABC Book and Bible House in Lincoln reminds our drivers to keep our mid-spring safe by driving with caution, courtesy, and common sense. When a car hits a car, it's an accident. When a car hits a child, it's a tragedy. Safe driving is every driver's responsibility. ABC Book and Bible House is located at 4745 Prescott in Lincoln. Call 402-488-3395 or visit AdventistBookCenter.com for further information. ABC Book and Bible House cares about the safety of our community.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Tailored Landscapes is actively preparing for spring. Things like new tree orders, getting equipment ready, and training staff to serve you the best they can. If you haven't already planned, now is the perfect time to figure out a maintenance plan for your yard. Tailored Landscapes is on the brink of spring cleanups for all their existing customers, and they have limited spots available. They trim trees and shrubs when needed and only mulch proper amounts. Give Tailored Landscapes a call at 402-432-2572 to set up a meeting with one of their designers and stop by the Tailored Life store in Bennett.
Hey guys, it's AD. Join us on Friday from 9 to 11 a.m. for The Drive at A1 Automotive's brand new location at 5110 State Hill Drive, just off of Yankee Hill in South Lincoln. We'll be on ahead of the grand opening, which goes from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., which will have giveaways, free food, and tours. We'll see you on Friday at the brand new A1 Automotive.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Welcome summer with Red, White, and Barbecue. Hog Wild will be open this Memorial Day from 11 a.m. until 8 p.m., serving up our award-winning barbecue. Pick up a slab of slow-smoked ribs or a family pack loaded with your favorite choice of meats and sides, complete with buns and our famous barbecue sauce. Enjoy the holiday with family and friends and let Hog Wild do the cooking. Order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8. Batter up.
Join us this summer at Haymarket Park for 50 action-packed Salt Dogs games running now through August. Visit saltdogs.com for updates on everything you need to know about weekly promotions, giveaways, and special events. That's where you'll find the latest updates to make sure you catch all the excitement and never miss a homestand you want to attend. Haymarket Park is your ticket to fun all summer long. Visit saltdogs.com to get your tickets and unleash the fun.
Attention! Acres is cutting interest rates and offering great deals below market value on the largest selection of used inventory in the nation. For a limited time, Acres is offering interest rates as low as 2.9% on our late model John Deere ag equipment. Acres low interest rates, along with our below market prices on select John Deere used planters, tractors, sprayers, and combines, makes it a great time to upgrade your equipment for the 2025 season. Visit acres.com for details. That's AKRS.com. Offer ends May 31st, 2025. Subject to proof financing. Offer may change at any time without notice.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
What's better than supporting your favorite radio station and eating delicious Nebraska-made products? Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska wants to highlight you, the listener, on the 93.7 The Ticket Wall of Fame at the store. Stop by the store at 48th and R in Lincoln and see their huge variety of small batch gourmet jerky. Or if you're not in the area and want to try some, go to smokinggunjerky.com and enter code EARLY for 10% off your purchase. It's the ultimate low-calorie, high-protein snack at Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks. Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Copple Chevrolet GMC, and they're having the biggest hail sale they've ever had. A huge opportunity is at your front door right now. Some of these cars we're fixing, some we're not, and some it's totally up to you. New Sierra starting at $15,000 off list. New Canyons at $8,500 off list. New body styles on the Acadias, $3,000 off list. You need to hurry as there's going to be a lot of people heading to Louisville. Check us out at copplecars.com. Stock numbers G121492, G187747, and G196599.
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker, who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Hour 2, Numero Dos. Aora, I don't know if I said that right, but I got Numero Dos right, of the Adam Carriker Show here on a Thursday edition of this fine program here on 93.7 The Ticket. All right, this hour, we're going to talk about Nebraska football's biggest concerns going into this fall. We've talked about a lot of the positive, a lot of the exciting things. We got to look at the whole picture, not just the part of the picture we like. What are some of the things that may or may not be a concern, or should we say question mark? All right, Matt Rhule wants a 40-team playoff. Just put it out there. Don't put any context. Just going to leave that. Not going to follow up at all. Just 40 teams. That's all he said. That's all he wants. And just leave it out there. No context. Do you got anything off the text line real quick before we go forward with those topics? Also, Western Conference Finals, just a smidge. And who would we draft on the Olympic NFL flag football team that can participate in the 2028 Olympics? All in the next hour. Anything off the text line?
Unknown texter 18922, and I'm assuming that they're talking about our college football playoff talk last segment. But don't be like the NFL. Remember when I think it was Denver or Cleveland made the playoffs with a 7-9 record?
So I don't recall which team. I do know it's happened twice. One time I specifically remember. All right, because I was playing for the Rams. The Seahawks won the NFC West. I think it was a year after the Saints won the Super Bowl with a 7-9 record. So if you win your division, you also get a home field playoff game.
We kind of saw that this year. That was that would have been what? Tampa? Yeah. Tampa.
Something like that.
Tampa
Yeah.
didn't have I think they were like 9-win, maybe 10-win.
Something like that. The Seahawks were back when you played 16 games. They were 7-9. First of all, they were in the playoffs, which is redonkulous. Then they had a home playoff game, which is absolutely ridiculous. And then they played the defending Super Bowl champs, the Saints, and beat them. And that was the beast mode run from Marshawn Lynch, where he broke it down the right side for like 40 yards, broke like 94,822 tackles, kind of like the Tommy Frazier run versus Florida. How many tackles can one man break?
Oh, man.
As awesome as that was, they shouldn't have been in to begin with. If we hold it to 16 teams, and we're going to move on. If we hold it to 16 teams with all these play-in games, you're going to have teams that get in with 4 losses. Again, 2 losses used to be a death blow. 1 would be a gigantic question mark whether you'd keep playing. Last year, 3 became the barometer. Okay, oh my gosh, we have 3 losses. We should be in over these other teams. Then go lose your playoff or your bowl game and whine about that too. But I digress, SEC. We're going to have 8 and 4 teams that get in. As long as this is me acquiescing as much as I reasonably can. I'm an old school college football purist, love the regular season at heart type guy. If you make me acquiesce beyond 8 and 4 teams getting in, I'm going to lose my ever-loving mind. Okay, I just am. There's nothing I can do about it. It doesn't matter what I think. My feelings, facts don't care about my feelings. And the fact is, this is going to happen. I'm praying. Like, while you're praying for me and my 5 kids this weekend, maybe pray that we don't go beyond 16 teams with a million playing games in the playoff, okay? So we don't become like the NFL.
Send that one out into the universe.
There you go.
Send that one out there, please.
I like it. All right. So, saw this thing online yesterday. Biggest concerns, all right, we'll say question marks or concerns, whatever you want to say, for every Big Ten team entering the 2025 season. All right, I'll just go down every team real quick. For Illinois, it was tight ends. Indiana, offensive line depth. They had a ton of experienced offensive linemen last year. They don't have that this year. All right, this is according to their post, not mine. All right, and this is according to JR and Zach Gungheim, who are college football experts, so to speak. This is a weird one. Iowa linebackers. They have like a Buckus Award finalist every year. That one was just weird for me to see.
They're putting linebackers in the NFL like
I know
hotcakes, like LSU wide receivers. Like what?
Yep.
What do you mean?
According to them, by the way, 2 of the players on my flag team are from LSU. Just to give you a heads up.
That's what I'm saying. Like they're putting guys into the NFL. I'm okay.
So, anyways, it's according to them, biggest question mark for Iowa's linebackers, Maryland offensive line. I think that's supposed to be Michigan, but it's really goofy looking. Pass protection. All right, it's a small graphic. Michigan State is offensive line chemistry, which I thought was a little unique. Minnesota's wide receivers.
Hey, you just got Malachi Coleman.
That's why I paused. Okay. All right. Nebraska is run defense. We'll come back to that. Northwestern is wide receivers. Ohio State is defensive line depth. They lost 3 or 4 starters from last year. Penn State, elite pass rusher. Okay, they just had the number 2 pick in the NFL draft, who was a pass rusher. All right, so how can they replace him? Purdue, it just says lines of scrimmage. So apparently the offensive line and defensive lines are both concerns for Purdue.
I think they have a lot more concerns than that, but
I think they had to narrow it down. Rutgers, losses on defense. UCLA offensive line. USC cornerbacks, which is interesting because they lost their top 5 pass catchers. USC did. So cornerbacks, I thought was interesting.
That's true.
Thank you for Zaire Wright, by the way. Washington offensive line. Wisconsin outside linebackers. Let's come back to Nebraska. When you hear run defense, according to this, and I'll give my thoughts, is that what would have been your biggest question mark for the Huskers? Would it have been one of your biggest question marks? Where would it have been on your radar?
I mean, I'd be lying if I told you it wouldn't at least be there. I'm definitely concerned, or I'm interested to see what it's going to be like with no Ty, no Nash. But we've been pretty good at run defense for the past 2 years. And I know Tony White leaves and he takes Terrence Knight with him. So maybe that changes. But I don't know. I don't know if that's the biggest concern. I think that there's things that probably are higher on the list for sure than that. We're talking about run defense. I'm thinking about running back depth for me personally. But yeah, I don't know.
So I looked through these a little bit yesterday. So I quote tweeted this, and I just said, hey, this is what they think our biggest concern is. Husker Nation, what are your thoughts? So here's some of the responses that I got. Offensive line. All right. Aaron GBR. The next person. Special teams. Jay Urban on X says, yes, it always is. I don't know about that. Let's see here. Captain America says, not at all linebackers are much improved. Better group, corners and safeties will be better too. Our D-line could actually be better than last year's. Just depends on how the transfers pan out. I thought that was one of the more well thought out responses I got.
Yeah.
Because when you say run defense, did I say defensive line? Did I say run defense?
You said run defense.
Run defense, yes. That includes your front eight. That includes your linebackers. That includes a lot of things. So for me, when I look at our linebacking core, I've said it before and I'll say it again, and I feel weird every time I say this. I feel like our second level of our defense is explosive, which you never hear people say that about a defense. They're explosive because they've got great burst and they're athletic and they're young and they're going to make plays. They're going to make plays in the backfield. They're going to chase people down. They're going to make some explosive plays. Like I could see a couple more touchdowns on defense this year. They're young, so they're also going to give up some explosive plays while this learning curve is happening as the season progresses. By the end of the year, we could have one of the best second levels of a defense, top 5 in the Big Ten, and I think that's a fair expectation. Out the gate, they're young, they're going to make plays, they're also going to give up plays, and that's okay because it's part of the learning process. Outside of Marquez Watson-Trent, we got a lot of underclassmen.
True.
Like Marquez Watson-Trent has played a ton of football.
What's McCullough they saw?
Well, he's like
a hybrid, isn't he?
Yeah, I was gonna say jack of all trades, a shorter, more abbreviated way of saying that is a hybrid. So he's the guy that RHULE has talked about having him come off the edge, and then he hasn't brought that up in a long time. So I don't know if he's changed his mind on that. He's a guy that can rush the passer. He led Indiana in sacks as a true freshman. He's
to me, and I'm not making the comparison in talent, just in terms of how they play. Kind of like the Micah Parsons. You can kind of put him in a few different places.
If you look at him,
I'm not saying he's Micah Parsons by any means, but kind of that similar type of way. I feel comfortable having him come off the edge, but I also feel comfortable dropping back in coverage. I really would. I think that's a great guy to have.
He's a guy you can move all over the place. I hope they are able to disguise him, but I also hope they allow him to get good at something. Because when you ask somebody to do, and I'm not saying they're going to ask him to do everything, but in life, or in other teams, I've seen people be asked to do everything, then they can't really get good at anything. So I'm hoping he's like a jack of all trades, a hybrid that they can move all over, maybe disguise. Teams can't key on him, but they do allow him to get good at some things. I'd love to see him rush the passer. He's a guy who can tackle in space. He's a guy who can cover. You see the dude, he's a freak athlete. So when you say similar to Micah Parsons in what you see, he's not Micah Parsons. We're not saying he's not Micah Parsons or he is Micah Parsons, just what you see. I understand the comparison.
Yeah.
Okay. So for me, I look at the second level of our defense because when you're talking about run defense, you're really talking about the D-line, your linebackers, and even guys who are going to blitz a lot. So a strong safety is going to be factored in there. In a hybrid defense like what we run, there's all sorts of guys who are going to be factored in there based on what type of blitz or where they're coming from, what they're doing. All right. The run defense, I suppose, is something that's a little bit of a question mark to me just because there's a little bit of unknown on the defensive line.
That's fair.
I think there's, like, you look at Elijah Judy coming back for his senior year. Look at Cam Lenhart, who played so well as a true freshman a couple of years ago. So he's shown he can do it. He's 2 years older now. Keona Davis was a guy that entered the portal, and everyone was like, oh, no. And then he comes back, and everyone celebrated like he's still here. Like, these guys haven't shown consistency because they've been behind guys like Ty Robinson and Nash Huntmaker. So it's okay. Now they're going to get their chance. So I don't know that's a concern. I do think it's a fair question mark. But then you look at the second level of that defense. Man, the word, it's so weird that I would describe a defensive position group as explosive, but that's how I see them. I see them as explosive guys who are going to get downhill, who are going to make plays, who are going to blitz and get tackles for loss in the backfield. I think we're going to be able to blitz and get after the quarterback a little bit more effectively. I just hope as the learning process is unfolding early on in the season, we don't have a true road game till like mid-October.
I didn't notice that.
Which I love, by the way.
I love that. I absolutely love that.
So when I talk about this learning curve, we've got a little bit of a buffer here, until about mid-October. The run defense would not have been at the top. For me, it's once again the offensive line finding consistency. It would be running back depth, and how do we play at the end of games? Like, if I had to pick one thing that's the biggest question mark, if you want to say concern, if you want to say whatever, it's how are we going to play at the end of games? Whatever that looks like. Because you can pick special teams, you can pick O-line, you can pick D-line, you can pick whatever. What do we do when it's a one-score game? How do we find ways to win? Instead of, unfortunately, finding ways to lose all too often not just last year, but in recent years.
Yeah.
What do you do when it matters the most? Who's got the clutch gene? Who wants the ball in their hands with the game on the line, or who wants to be on the field when the game's on the line? That's going to start with the quarterback, by the way.
Yeah.
The guy who needs to be the most clutch is Dylan Raiola. And it's a fair thing to expect. In this day of NIL and the transfer portal and players being paid, it's a fair thing to expect even before that, because it's part of the gig of being a major college football Division I starting quarterback. It's going to start with him. How does he perform? Like so many quarterbacks, you look at the great quarterbacks in NFL history, they were known for their fourth quarter comebacks or leading a game-winning drive or producing in the big moment in the big game. That's my number one. What happens in the fourth frickin' quarter? Then I look beyond that. Okay, running back depth. Okay, can the offensive line tackle position find consistency, and who steps up on the D-line? I don't want to say I just assume special teams is going to be better, which is why I haven't mentioned them yet, because it's been such a concern recently. I guess I just trust Mike Eckler. I don't expect miracles. I don't expect to be top 10 in the country. I expect to at least be average, which unfortunately is a gigantic jump in the right direction for Nebraska.
Huge.
I think Kevin Galick's a really good long snapper. I know they're going to be excited about the punting situation. We got 3 kickers now. Can one of them step up? I just think that we can at least be average on special teams, so which is a giant leap in the right direction. So I tend to go to these other areas. Am I overlooking an area? Am I overemphasizing an area? Should I not just be assuming we're going to be better on special teams? What are your thoughts?
I know texter Derek in a car kind of said special teams has been anything but special.
That is true.
So
that's a fair point.
It's completely fair. I wasn't really even thinking about special teams. I kind of think I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Ever since Mike Eckler came, and I'm like, all right, we're good.
Yeah.
Like I feel very confident having him back here. Someone who knows what Nebraska football is like. Someone who has a good track record of improving special teams.
Yes.
So I feel good about that in a whole. I love bringing in another kicker, someone who's played a bunch, had time to play. John Holt put it together at the end of last year. It took him a minute, but he figured it out. He got it put together. Alvano is, I think, still trying to get back to 100% in terms of his health. So the kicker position will be interesting to see. But I don't know. For me personally, it really zones back to running back depth, because if Emmett Johnson goes down, I'm going to be scared. That's just the truth. And I think we have some great guys in that room. I do like Quentin Ives. I love the other guys that are behind him, Jamarian Parker,
Connor Booth.
Yeah, Connor Booth. All those guys, like they got a great room. Like in my opinion, I just think they needed one more guy, just that one more guy. But that to me is the biggest concern in my eyes, like just running back depth. But I kind of like where you were going with like situational concerns and whatnot. So.
I think it's a fair point, the running back room. Matt RHULE has sporadically mentioned Quentin Ives in press conferences for 2 years now. Just here and there. He would just, all of a sudden, Quentin Ives would be mentioned, even though you don't see him much in games. But it's been going on for 2 years. I have enough trust in that and enough trust in RHULE that I feel like we have 2 good backs, even though we have not seen Quentin Ives consistently in games. But I've always said you got to have 3 backs you trust.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
A running back cannot play every down of every game, so you need another guy to at least spell him, if not rotate, which means you need to at least have 3 guys. I don't know. People miss games sometimes.
This is where I become so disappointed that Dowdell left. I know I don't want to harp on the past or anything, but that was when he came, I was excited to see what he was going to turn into. And then the new era comes and goes. So
I get it. I that's the challenge, though. How do you get more than 2 good running backs in a room, because people are going to leave?
As soon as you have 2 good running backs, one of them is going to leave for a RB1 job. That's just how it kind of works now.
It's a fair point. Okay, I reacted the way I did about Dowdell. I like Dowdell. I thought he was pretty good. He was a big back who was young.
Yes, that's why I liked him.
By the time he's done, he could be an all-conference player. He could be a high draft pick for all I know. What I saw last year was a big back that outside of the Wisconsin game did not run like a big back consistently. And I'm like,
fair assessment.
He's a big back with a great 20-yard burst. Okay, I wasn't expecting great top-end speed, but within 20 yards, he has the burst. I wanted to see the burst, and I wanted to see a guy run with big boy pads on. Like, And I didn't see it enough. I saw it in the Wisconsin game. I know he had a lot of short yardage goal line touchdowns, and he was good situationally. I don't know. I didn't see it a ton. I didn't quite see it enough, but he's also a young back. He may come back this year and be significantly better improved, and I might look at him and be like, dang, I wish he was here. But when he left, I was like, all right, money was a huge factor. Okay. Which it is with a lot of college football players and transfer portal and everything else now, as we know. But for me, I was like, all right, we got Emmett. I know they like Ives. Can we find that third guy? We haven't been able to quite get it yet. But we have young guys in that room. The talent is through the gills with those young guys. It's through the freaking roof. But you just never know what you're going to get right out the gate with young guys. So we got to wait and see kind of how that unfolds. Anything else from the text line? Anything else on your end real quick?
We got, what do you say? It's Eric in a car came back and said, unproven place kicker, no return game, kickoff or punt, and too many penalties with this group. It could only go up. I like that.
You're right.
Optimistic.
No, you're right. That's why I said if we're average, it's not a dig at the past. It's just my honest opinion. If we're average, that's a huge improvement.
No, that's a great improvement. I miss the days of like when we threw somebody back to punt return and it was like DeMornay Prisinel or JD Spillman back there. And I was like, make something happen. And it's not like they did it every play, but at least I had the thought in my head, like, this can happen.
Yeah, the threat was there.
I missed that.
Teams were terrified.
And we have guys that can do that.
Yes.
But we've been putting people back there like, hey, you can go out there and just field it. That's fine.
Full disclosure, we had 10 block kicks last year in total. It's almost won a game. Think about that. That's crazy. Okay. So can we just like not do that? We had, as we know, inconsistencies, like just basic things, protecting field goal, extra point, punter, so we can get the kicks off and having clean snaps. That right there will make a big difference.
Absolutely.
And we have guys who can return. They put Quentin Ives back there in the bowl game to return on some kicks. And I don't know if they'll do that this year, just with the running back room the way it is. Ja'Cory Barney is a guy I want to see back there. Probably the fastest guy on the team. I want to see him back there. We have other guys they can put back there, but what do we do with it? Just full disclosure, when they brought in another kicker, a third kicker, I was kind of like, with all due respect, that's not a great sign. If you like the battle you've got, you don't convolute the battle with more. You just let the battle play out, and whoever wins, you go. When you bring in a third guy, to me, that wasn't, I don't know, it's an indictment, but it's not a great sign. Like, if you're confident in your quarterback, you don't go sign another guy. To battle for the starting job. Maybe a backup, but not to battle for the starting job.
No, that's fair.
So we'll see what happens there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, we'll chat about some of the online entertainment yesterday from Coach RHULE. All right, not Coach RHULE, but the out of context stuff with Coach RHULE and who would be on Jackson's team, who would be on my team if we were in charge of the NFL Olympic flag football team that would be participating here in the near future. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Welcome summer with Red, White, and Barbecue. Hog Wild will be open this Memorial Day from 11 a.m. until 8 p.m., serving up our award-winning barbecue. Pick up a slab of slow-smoked ribs or a family pack loaded with your favorite choice of meats and sides, complete with buns and our famous barbecue sauce. Enjoy the holiday with family and friends and let Hog Wild do the cooking. Order online at gohogwild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
There are great Mexican restaurants all over town, but there is one that is especially worth the drive from any part of town. Tacos Los Hermanos at 70th and Havelock. Cool off this summer with a delicious horchata or other special drinks. And grab one of their famous taco boxes for a group of friends or coworkers to enjoy, full of birria tacos and many other options. Don't forget their great desserts like tres leches, flan, and cheesecake. Get to Tacos Los Hermanos for lunch or dinner today at 70th and Havelock in Lincoln.
Batter up!
Join us this summer at Haymarket Park for 50 action-packed Salt Dogs games running now through August. Visit saltdogs.com for updates on everything you need to know about weekly promotions, giveaways, and special events. That's where you'll find the latest updates to make sure you catch all the excitement and never miss a homestand you want to attend. Haymarket Park is your ticket to fun all summer long. Visit saltdogs.com to get your tickets and unleash the fun.
When daily energy fades and your drive just isn't what it used to be, Game Day Men's Health helps you step back into top form. Game Day Men's Health is one of the country's fastest growing clinics, and they focus on men's wellness, providing customized solutions with professionalism and privacy in mind. Testosterone optimization, weight management, vitamin injections, and shockwave therapy are just a few of the many things they offer. Restore your energy and rediscover confidence with the help of Game Day Men's Health, because every man deserves to feel his best every day. Visit them online at GameDayMen'sHealth.com today or in person at one of their 2 locations in Omaha.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge, with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards, just south of 48th and Holdridge.
When opportunity knocks, you don't want to miss the call. Hamilton Business Technologies makes communication easy and efficient using customized technology, all while putting people first. Whether you're working from the office, at home, or on the go, Hamilton Business Technologies equips your business with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today. See mostly sunny skies with a light breeze. Afternoon high near 69. Tonight, mainly clear skies with light winds, low around 44. And tomorrow, a chance of showers and storms. Otherwise, mainly cloudy and breezy with the high around 66. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Memorial Day is coming up quickly, and you know what that means. Grilling season. You know what's more embarrassing than an overcooked piece of meat? A dirty, disgusting, and grimy grill. Let the pros at Husker Grill Cleaning get you ready for grilling season. They'll take your grill apart piece by piece, scrub every inch, and reassemble it so your grill can look and perform its best. Visit their website at huskergrillcleaning.com today to schedule your appointment. Husker Grill Cleaning, serving Lincoln, Omaha, Malcolm, and more.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Advanced Medical Imaging is the largest radiology group in Nebraska, located in Lincoln at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they utilize state-of-the-art technology and blend it together with their compassionate, skilled team to guide you through every step. Whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or X-ray, their precise diagnostics help your doctor deliver the best care plan for you. Choose clarity and comfort in your life by choosing Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Ladies and Is the mic on? Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show. All right, real quick, before we forget, we talk about the Western Conference Finals. You may have heard this. If you didn't, this is the first Western Conference Finals that will be played outside of Texas or California since 1996. Think about the Mavericks. Think about the Spurs. Think about the Warriors. Think about the Lakers. 1996. That's crazy, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So Minnesota was right there with Oklahoma City. They actually led at halftime. I don't know if most people remember. They actually had the lead at halftime. Then they got outscored by 30 points in the second half. Minnesota, a team that was 49-33, so a fair piece, shall I say. All right, over 500. They were 8-2 in the playoffs coming into this series. Oklahoma City Thunder, the number one seed in the Western Conference Finals. They 35-6 at home, 68-14 overall. Very, very good team. They ended up curb stomping Minnesota in game one. We'll see what happens in game two. 114-88. All right, before we move on, you got any quick thoughts there, my friend?
Yeah, I've said this about OKC for a while. Depth. They are the deepest. I don't know if that's they have the most depth in the NBA.
Yeah, that works. Deepest, most depth.
Like,
same thing.
They just have depth. And like in that game too is, you got the MVP on your side who shot great from the line, the free throw line, but also was 0 for 4 from 3. So I actually think OKC, weirdly enough, could have performed better. And they actually beat them by 30. That's why OKC's wild. I think right now they put the talks to rest because a lot of people were like, "Oh, the Wolves, that's your front runner." They kind of put that to rest. I think OKC is the front runner right now. We'll see what Minnesota can do in game 2 and for the rest of the series. But yeah.
Well, the Timberwolves, like I said, they had looked really good coming into this series.
Oh, absolutely. They looked great.
Now you're playing the team by far the highest remaining seed. All right, the Timberwolves were the 6th seed. Oklahoma City number 1 in the East. I believe the Pacers and Knicks were the 3 and 4 seeds. Team with by far the best record, the MVP. Did you see his MVP acceptance speech? Like, he shouted out his wife and thanked her. It kind of reminded me of Kevin Durant when he was thanking his mom, but obviously this was for his wife.
I didn't see it.
You should check it out if you get a chance.
Oh, yeah,
it was pretty cool. He got pretty emotional. So awesome. I thought that was pretty cool. All right, my man. 40-team playoff. Where do you weigh in?
40-team playoff.
40-team playoff. We're going to go out of context before we go into context.
Since Coach RHULE said it, I'm going to have to agree with it. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I back you, Coach RHULE. I'm right there with you. I stand with you.
All right.
No, come on. Come on. Right? So what are we doing?
For someone who may not know what we're talking about, Matt RHULE did an interview recently with Sean Callahan. Steve Sipple did a great job. Talked about the expanding playoff and going to 16 teams and rules all forward, basically saying, yeah, let more teams in. And then he jokes. He goes, hey, let's just go ahead and put 40 in. And when you hear it and you see his body language and you hear the tone, it's clearly a joke. Okay. Now, every good joke has a little bit of truth in it or it's not funny. But every good joke doesn't have too much truth in it or it's also not funny. Do I think Matt RHULE would actually be okay with a 40-team playoff? I actually do. But that's not how he wasn't sitting here pounding the table saying, I want a 40-team playoff. He was saying the more spots, the more opportunities for Nebraska because he's Nebraska's head football coach to get in. Now, a lot of people took this as, oh, Nebraska can't get in unless there's 40 teams, and this is the only way it can happen, and things were taken out of context. And like when you see something in print, you can't hear the tone with which it was said. You don't get the jive of the conversation. You don't get to be able to see the body language or the facial expression. If you go watch the clip, it's pretty obvious. He's having fun with it. Again, I don't think he would object to it probably, but that's not what he really said. It was more in jest. And so when I first started doing the Carriker Chronicles almost 11 years ago, it was articles. I don't know if most people remember that. It's been a show for almost 10 years, but it was articles, which I enjoyed doing. But you know what the most difficult thing for me was with articles? Tone.
Yeah.
It was tone. Because 3 people can get the same text or 3 people can read the same thing in that little voice in your head. 3 people can come away with 3 completely different tones in their head with how they read whatever's been written. So tone was the thing I would spend by far the most amount of time on.
Yeah.
It's one of the things I enjoy about a show. When you actually watch the clip, you can hear the tone. You can see the body language. You can get the whole vibe behind it, not have to try to figure it out in your head from words on paper. So it's a little bit misleading there. But what are your thoughts on this? And it's hard because some people in fairness were like, clickbait. Well, when you're writing an article, you'd prefer if people read it. If you have a show, you would prefer that people read it. The innuendo behind clickbait is you're only doing it to get attention. When you're doing something with content behind it or for content, you hope people are interested. But there's a difference between putting out an honest opinion, hoping people are interested, doing the best you can, giving your honest opinion, and just selling out just to get as many clicks as you can. There's two completely different things. But what was your take on this?
My first wonder was, has this tweet and post reached Paul Feinbaum's desk? Because I'm very curious. I want to know what he has to say. No, I'm kidding.
I haven't heard him say anything, but that would be an interesting reaction.
I would love to see the way he reacts to Matt RHULE joking around, because we all know how he feels about Matt RHULE. So, but no.
How dare the Big Ten want 4 teams in the playoffs?
Yeah, how dare.
Oh, wait, what happened there? Ooh. Paul Feinbaum did later apologize after the playoffs last year.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah, he did fall back. But anyways, he's just joking around. I saw a great post yesterday. It said Matt RHULE is the most misunderstood head coach in college football because he says things that everybody else is thinking and then gets hate for it.
Mm-hmm.
It makes no sense. He said the stuff about the SEC and the Big Ten. He's commented on a lot of things. Like, he was one of the first ones to bring up the spring game format, and then a bunch of schools followed the exact same way. But he also got hate for it. I don't get it. I don't understand why people like to hate him. He's a he's just a great guy outside of being a head coach. He doesn't deserve any of the hate that he gets. But yeah, it just goes back to the tone. Like, listen to the video. He is very obviously kidding. It's not like it was like, oh, why'd you say that? Why do you think that? He was kidding. He was totally kidding. So, that's my thoughts.
So you make an interesting point, because what Matt RHULE says tends to garner headlines across the country. As much, I don't want to say more, but as much as any other coach out there.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's why I think that is. I think it is because a lot of times I do think he's ahead of the curve. Your point with the spring game format and your point with a lot of things that he says, he tends to be the first one to actually say it and or actually do it. And so people have to absorb it at first. If you're the 5th guy to say it, it's not going to catch the attention. He doesn't mind being first. I don't mind being first to say things. Okay. So I think that's part of it. I think part of it is he will say things that maybe other coaches wouldn't. He's just more upfront, open, and honest. I'm not saying coaches are dishonest, but you don't have to say everything unless that's something you wish to say. And he doesn't mind saying those things. So he tends to be first. Okay. At least at times. He doesn't mind being upfront, open, and honest, where maybe not every coach would feel comfortable with that. I do think the Nebraska brand still catches people's attention. You can say, oh, you're stuck in the 90s, and you're stuck in this, and you're stuck in that. Did you notice when we were 2-0 and we mollywopped Colorado, how many national people were talking about Nebraska?
The amount of people that were even at that game in Lincoln, like people that didn't even realize knew Nebraska existed. I'm walking down there. I see Derek White, who I found out later with Colorado, but I also see Mark Williams as well. Like just like NBA players in the middle of Lincoln. You know, I'm a Florida kid, so this is to me, in some. Take this lightly. This is the middle of nowhere to a Florida kid.
I get it.
To like,
how dare you? Go ahead.
Yeah,
no, I'm just kidding.
No, but people, when I tell them I live in Lincoln, they're like, where is that? I'm like, go to the map, throw a dart to the center of the country. That's where it is. That's it. But yeah. So I don't understand. Nebraska garners all this attention. We still are very nationally relevant. I was definitely still considered to be a blue blood.
So when they...
So I don't get it. I don't know.
So online, when people are like, who are the blue bloods in college football? It's consistently the same 8 schools.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like Oklahoma, Texas, Notre Dame, Michigan, Ohio State, Nebraska, USC, Alabama. Like those are the 8. And there's maybe some others that are knocking on the door, so to speak. Okay, Penn State's always kind of been knocking on the door. Georgia's, but it's typically those 8. And Nebraska's still included in there.
The people are like, why is Nebraska included? It's always people like my age, too. And I'm always like, come on, guys.
So Nebraska, despite what people say, is still a national relevant brand. And I'm telling you right now, national pundits would love if Nebraska started competing at a championship level again, because the instant there's any hint of us being good, they're all over it.
It's great for college football.
The instant that we lost a few games last year, I couldn't help but notice they disappeared. The reason they like it is because we're a big brand. It's good for college football. Husker Nation might be the most engaged college football fan base in the country.
By far.
And I think that I can say that, and it's a true statement, and I don't have to hesitate about saying it because it is true without a doubt.
I always tell people.
And it garners attention.
Exactly. I always tell people in Lincoln, in Nebraska, there's no professional on a high level. We have, we have our volleyball teams.
Now there's
I'm going to give them their flowers. We have our volleyball teams,
yes,
but there's no NBA, there's no MLB, there is no professional football. UNL, the Nebraska Cornhusker football team, that is what they have in terms of their big, high-profile team. So it's just going to be bigger as a school than what you would assume it to be.
And we were so good for so long, and hopefully we can get back there sooner rather than later, at least just competing at a high level again. That doesn't just disappear. Over 40 years, we won 9 games or more. No school's ever done that. We have the second most amount of conference championships of any college football program in history. Number 1's Oklahoma, number 2 is Nebraska. It's one of the reasons that Oklahoma-Nebraska rivalry, gosh, I wish it was still going on, or at least to happen more often. But here's the fourth reason. Matt Rhule doesn't hesitate to be first. He doesn't hesitate to be honest. Nebraska is still a big brand that national pundits will immediately hop on because they know they're going to get attention. Here's the other one. We haven't won a lot lately, so it's an easy punching bag. You're stuck in the 90s. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not stuck in the 90s. I remember the 90s. I will always revere the 90s. But it's 2025. Just because I love Nebraska and I watched that era and was fans of those guys growing up and I'm friends with a lot of them now doesn't mean I'm stuck there. Okay? It's an easy punching bag because we have not, I'm just going to be honest, we have not performed at the level that we have liked for far too long. And it's like, it's easy for other fans to mock and say negative things, and then that garners attention. They know they're going to get a reaction is the biggest thing.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Any final thoughts before we get out of here? And then we discuss NFL flag football.
Just Matt Rhule, watch what you say. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm right there with him.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Psst. You know what's better than waking up early to go to the airport? Sleeping in. Lucky for you, the lines at the Lincoln Airport are so short and our service is so fast. You won't need to sacrifice precious beauty sleep to get here hours before your flight. So, go ahead, sleep in. You deserve it, and choose the airport that helps you relax. LNK, make flying easy.
Memorial Day is coming up quickly, and you know what that means. Grilling season. You know what's more embarrassing than an overcooked piece of meat? A dirty, disgusting, and grimy grill. Let the pros at Husker Grill Cleaning get you ready for grilling season. They'll take your grill apart piece by piece, scrub every inch, and reassemble it so your grill can look and perform its best. Visit their website at huskergrillcleaning.com today to schedule your appointment. Husker Grill Cleaning, serving Lincoln, Omaha, Malcolm, and more.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards just south of 48th and Holdridge.
When opportunity knocks, you don't want to miss the call. Hamilton Business Technologies makes communication easy and efficient using customized technology, all while putting people first. Whether you're working from the office, at home, or on the go, Hamilton Business Technologies equips your business with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
When daily energy fades and your drive just isn't what it used to be, Game Day Men's Health helps you step back into top form. Game Day Men's Health is one of the country's fastest growing clinics, and they focus on men's wellness, providing customized solutions with professionalism and privacy in mind. Testosterone optimization, weight management, vitamin injections, and shockwave therapy are just a few of the many things they offer. Restore your energy and rediscover confidence with the help of Game Day Men's Health, because every man deserves to feel his best every day. Visit them online at GameDayMen'sHealth.com today or in person at one of their 2 locations in Omaha.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence.
Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in experience and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. If you're a guy facing divorce, remember, Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
1221 N Street, Lincoln. CordellCordell.com.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with the child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Tailored Landscapes is actively preparing for spring. Things like new tree orders, getting equipment ready, and training staff to serve you the best they can. If you haven't already planned, now is the perfect time to figure out a maintenance plan for your yard. Tailored Landscapes is on the brink of spring cleanups for all their existing customers, and they have limited spots available. They trim trees and shrubs when needed and only mulch proper amounts. Give Tailored Landscapes a call at 402-432-2572 to set up a meeting with one of their designers and stop by the Tailored Life store in Bennett.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contests, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show. If you didn't know, now you know. NFL owners have officially approved a resolution to allow their players to participate in flag football in the 2028 Summer Olympics. The vote was 32-0. Man, I was surprised by that. No concerns about injuries. They got to be getting a cut of this pay, but that's a topic for another day. Who is on your NFL Olympic flag football team if you're the man in charge? Who you picking? I'll tell you who I'm picking.
So we can get 10. 5 are on the field at a time, but you limit yourself to 10. That's what I found the rules from the Olympics website.
Okay.
So at QB, I'm going to get Lamar. I just want.
No, I'm getting Lamar.
I just want. I
want Lamar.
Like.
All right.
It's got to be Lamar,
Lamar's
right?
the guy. Lamar's the guy. Go ahead.
Lamar for me. At running back, I feel like I could. There's so many ways I can go here. Give me Devon Achane.
All right, Saquon Barkley. I'm glad you picked someone else because I'm like, if we continue to match, I'm gonna be unhappy.
I'm gonna try to go a little unorthodox here, but give me Devon Achane.
I'm going Saquon.
That dude's fast.
I like
that dude is fast.
I like it. Go ahead.
I'm probably just gonna go right to receiver here. I'm gonna take him. I'm taking Tyreek. I'm stealing him.
All right.
Because I know that's probably like everybody thinks flag football. You just imagine Tyreek Hill out there. I'm taking Tyreek.
Oh, man. So Tyreek is on my list.
I mean, how could he not be, right? I mean, come on.
Is there anybody faster in the NFL? I don't think there is.
I think you could say Xavier Worthy, but that's strictly the 40 time.
That's a good point.
And I was going to take him too, but.
All right. For the sake of just picking someone different, because I wasn't going to take Tyreek, I'll go Justin Jefferson.
That's totally
probably the best all-around wide receiver in the NFL. So I'm going Justin Jefferson. All right. So far I have Lamar. You have Lamar. I have Saquon. Who'd you have?
Devon A-Chain.
And then I've got Justin Jefferson. You have Tyreek Hill.
Yep.
All right. Who's your next player?
I just said it. Xavier Worthy.
Xavier Worthy.
Give me Xavier Worthy. Speed kills.
I want Tyreek Hill. All right. I'm just making my second receiver take, and I'm going with Tyreek Hill.
I mean,
sorry.
it's kind of unfair because
I just switched it around.
Yeah, it's gonna be whatever. So
all right, I got Tyreek Hill. All right, I'm going next because if you go first, you're probably going to take my guy again. Center. Someone who can block a little bit.
Yeah.
But mostly can catch the ball, make plays. George Kittle.
Oh, yeah. That's fair.
George Kittle. Who you taking? Jason Kelsey? That'd be a great pick. Go with Jason Kelsey. I just want you to take Jason Kelsey.
I'm going to go a little different here.
I figured you would.
Give me Trey McBride.
All right. I don't hate that.
Give me Trey McBride.
That is a little different, though.
It's
I like
different.
I like it.
Give me Trey McBride. I think it could work.
All right.
Might work.
I don't hate that at all, honestly. All right. So we need some like some backup guys. In case guys get a little bit banged up here. So like my other wide receiver, this is so asinine to say, but would be Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, depending on how much you can or cannot run with the quarterback, it'd either be Patrick Mahomes or Kyler Murray.
Absolutely.
One of those two.
Yeah, I'd probably take Patrick. And I talked about this with the guys on the drive yesterday. But Raph said it great. Patrick Mahomes just has the ability to swing the ball in a way that other quarterbacks can't. And I think in flag football, that's exactly what you kind of need. So he's arguably like I could see him being the starter on somebody's team. But
all right, defensively. So I don't know what the exact Olympic rules are, but the flag rules are you can set a cone 7 yards from the line of scrimmage. You can plant a defender there, and they can rush the quarterback on the snap of the ball.
I imagine it's the same way because it said like they have to line up 7 yards away. So yeah, I imagine it's pretty much the same.
I have not looked up the Olympic rules, but if it's the same, I'm going Micah Parsons. He is the fastest pass rusher in the entire NFL.
By far.
So I'm going Micah Parsons. Who are you going?
Weirdly enough, who I've actually called, and I'm pretty confident about this. I have called Abdul Carter, who just inked his contract, by the way. A Micah Parsons kind of like
I get it
reignited.
It's not a bad pick
resurrected,
at all.
whatever.
Dude, that's not a bad pick at all.
I'm taking Abdul Carter because they're very similar.
Yep.
They were brought up in the exact same system, so they're very similar. And I would go Abdul Carter again, fast, speed.
I got no issues with that. All right, at corner probably Patrick Surtain and Trent McDuffie.
That's fair.
All right, safety maybe Xavier McKinney, ball hawking skills there. So that's kind of who I'm thinking. I know that leaves me short a spot. I don't know. But you know what I'd love to see? I'd love to see Lamar Jackson rushing the quarterback.
Yeah, I'm interested to see
that would be fun.
Yeah, I want to see what's going to happen there because, like, put Tyreek Hill at, like you could put guys wherever you
That'd
want.
Be awesome.
I imagine there's going to be no positional restrictions. You
I don't
can
think
throw
so.
them wherever you want. So it's going to be so much fun.
All right, round out your defense, and then we got to get out of here for
my
today,
defense,
my man.
I'm going to go Sauce Gardner. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. Corner from Seattle. I forget his name. I think he went to Cincinnati, but I don't know. I don't remember. No, he went to UTSA. That's where he went. I forget his name, but fast. I like theme, speed, fast. Safety. Yeah, I'd probably Xavier McKinney. Yeah, that's probably like my guy out there at safety. But honestly, at safety, give me like I don't know. Give me like I don't know. Throw Jamar Chase out there. Like corner or safety. Just see what he does.
You're going to pull a Bill Belichick and put Gronkowski back there? Remember that Hail Mary that didn't go so well versus the
I was gonna say, I don't
Dolphins?
know if I would do that, though, because I saw what happened with that Hail Mary.
Dude, he did not look great on that play. He was never back out there again. Sometimes you overthink things just a little bit. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a glorious day. We'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow is 11 to noon.
Yep.
All right, so it's a quick, hard-hitting edition of the Adam Carriker Show on Friday. Till then, go Big Red Nose. Remember to throw the bone.